Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So today we are on number 34 in the book. That's page 55. And number 34 has to do with oneness. So, oneness could be looked at as a union between the higher nature and the lower nature, the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. It could be even lower emotion with higher emotion, incarnated soul with a higher soul. Usually traditionally, oneness is looked at as union between the incarnated soul and the higher soul. But even when we do work with vagal tone, all the different classes that we've been talking about, vagal tone and tuning into the divine calm, part of the benefit of having greater levels of vagal tone is actually also having greater levels of oneness. There's a greater level of connection to the soul and a greater potential for union between the incarnated soul and the higher soul. So this is associated not just with something spiritual, but psychologically, it can clean up the mind, it can clean up the thought forms, the repetitive thoughts, but it does this by helping to deepen the level or degree of vagal tone in the body. We think of vagal tone as the different systems and how that body is able to go into rest and repair, but there's much deeper reasons for vagal tone, both for psychological well-being and our spiritual development. And so here we're using a blend called the void, and the void is actually the throat, and the void is the space in between the incarnated soul and the higher soul. The crown, the forehead, and the area between the eyebrows are all associated with the higher soul. The heart down is associated with the incarnated soul. So the throat is the void or the abyss that we have to cross to make this connection between the higher soul and the incarnated soul. Okay, so we're going to go through and we're going to do our process. So out of your kit, you're going to pull up the void. So we're inhaling. Your awareness is on the left side of your body, left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder and ribs, your left hip, all the way down to the left outer ankle. Left side of your body, you're taking nice, long, slow, deep. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. The front side of your body, the face and throat, the chest, abdomen, front of the pelvis, down the fronts of the legs to the tops of your feet. Move your awareness to the right side of your body, the whole right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder, your right rib and hip, down the leg to the right outer ankle. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. The back side of the body, the whole back side. Back of the head and neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. Just pause and be still. Just pause and be still. Okay. So that is the standard approach. That's something that you could do on a daily basis. Something you do before meditation, or if you want to integrate it into another process that you're doing, you could do that. You could also add it to a stack of other work programs. And those are things that you could do on a daily basis, even multiple times a day. But now we're going to do the advanced approach. And I'd say maybe only 1 to 2 times a week with the advanced approach, just to give your energy body time to assimilate the energy in the shift. So with that, you're using the same oil. Your awareness is on the left side of your body, the side of your face, left shoulder, left ribs and hip, down the outer leg to the left outer ankle. Now your awareness is on the back side of the body. Your awareness is on the back side of the body, the back of the head and neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. You're on the back side of the body. Your awareness is on the right side of your body, the whole right side. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the right side of your body. Your awareness is on the front side of your body, your face and throat, your chest, abdomen, front of your pelvis, down the fronts of your legs to the tops of your feet. The whole front side of the body. Just pause and let go. Just let go. Okay, so now let's begin inhaling on the knees, either your whole knee or the area behind your knee. You're still on your knees. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. The ankles. Your awareness is on your ankles. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Just pause and let go. Just be still. Okay, let's do the 4 quadrants again. Your awareness is on the left side of your body, left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder, your left ribs and hip, down the leg to the left outer ankle. The front side of your body, your face, throat, chest, abdomen, front of your pelvis, down your legs to the tops of your feet. The right side of your body, right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder, your right ribs and hip, down the leg to the right outer ankle, the whole right side. back side of the body, back of the head and neck, your whole back and hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. Pause and be still. Just pause and be still. We're going to do the last little piece. Your awareness is on your brain. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the brain. The spine, your awareness is on the spine. Your brain and spine both at the same time. The brain and the soles of your feet. As you inhale, move your awareness up above the ankles. As you exhale, down into the earth. And then just pause and be still. You're just being still. On that, treat you. Just let that incubate for a moment. Okay, let's go ahead and share experiences, ask questions. We'll do that for a few minutes, and then we'll jump into our normal Q&A. So let's keep it to the Auric programming just for a few minutes, and then we'll switch over. So go ahead and fire away.
Go ahead, Denise.
Hey, hey.
Well, I really like the scent of the oil a lot. And it seemed to either like release certain things, but it always kind of connect and release different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And doing this program, remember, I think for the couple of years I've told you guys that at times I've had a hard time connecting with my left,
Mm-hmm.
and doing this program this last week and this week, I'm beginning to connect with the left and feel more off to my left.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is interesting, but remember I had that really bad horse accident where it affected everything off to the left. It was years and years ago, but
right.
I never had any kind of physical therapy or anything like that until, this last year. So, yeah, it's so that I love it. But could you explain just a little more about the void? I heard you say it has to do with the throat and oneness.
It has to do with the throat chakra, like not
Okay.
necessarily the physical throat, but the throat chakra. And the throat chakra is actually considered the abyss or the void. The void is the space between the higher soul and the incarnated soul. So, like as we meditate, for example, and we do things where we activate the heart and we activate the crown, there's like a connection that crosses that void that connects the higher soul and the incarnated soul. And so it's just that space of
Potentiality?
what's that?
Is it like potentiality or?
Yeah, I would say that it's almost like, how they talk about being a vessel or emptiness.
Mm,
It's like that emptiness. And yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope that helps.
It's
Yeah.
it's much clearer. Thank you. But I think it would be this one for some reason to work with a little bit more this week. So thank you.
Yeah, the ones that have like kind of a little bit more of a spiritual slant, they don't really have like a lot of things where you go, I'm going to use it for this condition or that condition. But they tend to be very quietly very impactful, you know. And so
It has a nice scent too on
yeah,
top of it.
yeah.
I couldn't put my finger on what it was,
Yeah, I could look up and see what
but
it
it
is.
kind of pulled me in even more.
Yeah, let's see what that is. It's been a long time since I made that, so I don't even quite remember. Funny, I was just telling Samantha, I got to clean up my recipe books.
Oh, that's going to be a project.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot of oils, and there are always new ones coming on board.
Yeah. And I just got to get them a little more organ. Here we go. So cistus, sitka, aloes, kind of a fancy aloes too. Black frankincense and acacia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
it's pretty fancy blend there.
And black frankincense was the last one, right?
Yeah, acacia.
Okay,
So
sure.
cistus, sitka, aloes, like kind of a fancy aloes, and then black frankincense and acacia.
Oh, thank you. I think
Yeah,
I only have one of all of those. And it
yeah.
probably, so thank you very much.
You're so
Go ahead, Barbara.
hey.
Hey, thank you for this. Really powerful.
Yeah, isn't it?
Felt a lot of, yeah. Um, a lot of energy moving, a lot of yawning, particularly in the right in the back. I don't know if that's a cumulative effect, something about those two quadrants.
Yeah,
Um,
you know, as we go through and we keep refining the aura, you know, you are going to find that the back can have a bit more like there. And as weird as it sounds, the sides will sometimes like I don't know if it's the right word. Like I don't know if it's expelling or they're just like the blockages will come more to the surface, but it's usually when you're piercing through something and you're starting to touch more of the astral realm or the astral body. And so that's the reason why we just don't go front and back is the sides play a significant role. And so yeah, you know, we get so used to just doing the front that you know we forget about the back. And I find that like when you go through and you do a bunch of work on the backside, it makes the back solar plexus really release, like really release. And it usually isn't like uncomfortable. It's not like it's you know, I used to call it etheric diarrhea, you know, where it's just bleh. It's like it just kind of starts to expel and then it dissipates. And then, you know, you do it again, it will expel and dissipate. And so, you know, sometimes like when you're doing the quadrant, you can like how Denise has a little bit more of a thing on the left side. You can linger on that area for a while. Um, you know, as you keep refining the aura, there are going to be these like little sections that they look like almost like little energetic rocks or something that are just like lodged in different places. And you know, it's just an accumulation of whatever. You know, sometimes I think it's things that we have done in this incarnation, and sometimes I think some of it is stuff we just kind of come in with. You know, because it almost looks again to me, it almost looks too dense sometimes to have been assimilated and or assembled in this lifetime. Like it's too big, it's too dense, and it's too hard to like we would really have to work at it to cause those kinds of blockages. And think about like how does karma manifest? You know, it's the light that comes in the blood or the lack of light. But these blockages have a lot to do with like how we flow and how we process in the intuitive mind. And these blockages cause reactions in our body and our emotions and our you know mental uh, mental body. And you know if you think about like you know we have things that maybe bother us and we go through it and we do a you know think of the past or some active situation and you go through and you clear it, but there's just these things sometimes like no matter what you do they're just they're always there. And a lot of that stuff is things that are stuck in the field, you know. Sometimes it can be an old traumatic event, like if the trauma was strong enough. But yeah, but anyway.
so I'm feeling some subtle activity in the throat, like things are just still percolating there.
Oh yeah,
And
that's actually a very good sign. Yeah.
and a little bit at the throat minor, which got
Mhm.
activated yesterday doing some dream processing work. Could
Nice.
could you say a little bit about the throat minor and what?
You know, like it will help the throat to function better. You know, it's really tied more to like physiological processes, but it does enhance the function of the throat. You know, same with the back throat and the front throat kind of do some similar things, and then it's a little bit different. But throat minor and the jaws actually are the two places that contribute to the function of the throat. You know how like the arms and legs are associated with the basic chakra? Like it's the same for the throat minor and the jaws. And
Okay, thank you. You started this
the,
segment off. Oh, did you have more to say?
yeah, like you know how we talk about intellect and we talk about intuition, and intuition being associated with the intuitive mind. But like you could say that when light is coming in and is in the process of concretizing, it divides up into these four different aspects, like that work that we've done and continue to do on and off with the four aspects of the blood.
Mm.
That is a very specific process about materializing light into the form. And the thing that I would also say is if you flip that and you look at the point of view of intellect, or in the body, it's the homeostasis mechanism. You know, you could call it different things depending on if it's in nature, if it's in the body and the mind. But you know, there's the aspect of uh, always moving from past experiences, you know, and then repetition, and then maintenance of that repetition, and then finally um, protection of that repetition. And and I'm not talking about protection from other people or protection. It's protecting like you know, the things that it just does over and over again. And that protective component is the opposite of being conscious, if that makes sense. Like the thing that protects that repetition is also that makes us like consciously asleep.
Mm.
And so as you go through and you break down those aspects, you know, it's not just about getting soul energy into the body. I mean, that helps the body to heal. But even if you look at the idea of the blockages that happen that block things from healing, um, you know, you could break it down to it's like of one of those four blockages. And you know, even when you have an area that's not responding to treatment, or the body's not able to move forward on something, there's a blockage in one of those aspects. And so like when we go through on the vagal tone, we're going deep on the repetition component, you know, going really super deep on the repetition component. But when you get into that deeper level of protection, again, it's protecting from any sort of shift or change, or it's just trying to maintain that repetition. That's the part that kind of doesn't allow us to have like more conscious thought or more consciousness. You know, it just kind of keeps us in automatic behavior, automatic thinking. And that idea of the throat minor and the jaws, they both kind of help unwind some of those components. The jaws help unwind the protective mechanism, and throat minor is a little bit more of the maintenance component. You know, it just perpetuates a thing. thing that happens. But even the idea of using the void here kind of diminishes all those tendencies of intellect or homeostasis or the aspect that's from the environment.
That was really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
One last thing. You
Mhm.
started this session by talking about deepening or connection with vagal tone. And was that this whole work programming
Yeah.
process we're
Yeah.
doing, or this particular
All the work
All of
programs do it to a certain extent, but this one, you know, a lot of times we're going, let's hit the nervous system, let's hit the cardiovascular system, let's this one goes a bit deeper than even the body, you know, because like even when you look at the idea of, okay, let's activate the heart and let's have a deep meditation with our awareness on our heart, we're only able to have the level of experience of activating the heart or the activation of the heart is dependent to a certain extent to the blockages that are in the body. And when we keep unwinding those blockages, there starts to be a greater and greater potential, because eventually you kind of surpass the physical form. You know, you start to really experience the astral realm, the astral body. And so if you look at like even like the cardiovascular system, you know, there's vagal tone for the heart, you know, or the cardiovascular system itself. But then you can start getting into little nuances of the circulation breaks down, and there's a pulmonary circulation and then a systemic circulation. And they each have their own kind of stresses. And usually for most people, the circulation, the pulmonary circulation, where the blood is going into the heart to get oxygenated again, that's usually a big stress. And when that gets diminished, like, yes, your body feels better, but you're also able to start having deeper um, spiritual experiences and a more regulated psyche, you know, emotions and mind. And look, like for the heart vagal tone usually has to do with conflict, you know. And it's not that like you're a person who walks around getting in conflict, but it's just like the conflict of life, things that have happened, traumatic events, you know, all those things just kind of punch us in the heart over and over and over again. And you know, when we get triggered and when we get a little bit even emotionally upset or something, anxiety, some forms of anxiety, I should say, um, a lot of that has to do with vagal tone associated with the cardiovascular system. And so, you know, we do it to heal, but if you go past that aspect of just looking at the body as far as vagal tone is concerned, there's still something on the other side of it. And like when we're doing this thing with the void, or you know, what's the other one? The Vajrayana, with the Vajrayana. Yeah.
Vajrayogini.
Yeah. Um, they're big time about going into places that the body only wish it could go. You know, it's a much deeper state. And, you know, if you look at the ideas of like inner peace and an activated heart and a quiet mind, you know, you really kind of start off with calming all these different aspects down in the body. But past that, like you almost like generate this momentum and like everything quiets down. And then there's like this whole other realm that you can start stepping into because the body's not reactive, you know. So a deeper level of healing can happen psychologically, but it's not like how we think about it with the intellect, where we go, I'm going to release this trauma, I'm going to release. It's almost like just getting up and going, yeah, this room where all the trauma is, I'm out of here. I'm just out of here. Like we need to kind of keep unwinding it for a little while so that we can get to the place where we can get up and walk out. But at some point, it literally is just walk out, shut the door, done. And it's not like a suppression, and it's not like, oh, it's in your field and it will be processed later. When you walk away from it like that, those things starve to death. Like they die. You know, they're not being sustained by your energy body, your conscious awareness, or unconscious, drives. It just fades away.
Thank you for the time you took to answer my questions.
Yeah, my pleasure. I feel like I ramble sometimes, but
And we're still finishing up the ARC and somatic programming, guys. For those of you who just got here to join the regular Q&A, we'll finish the ARC programming, and then I'll let you guys know when to raise your hand for the regular Q&A. We have one more hand raised and then some chat. So go ahead, Ralph.
hey.
Hey, Greg. You mentioned, when you were talking about to Denise, you were talking about protection around the throat. And it almost from your conversation, my mind was going, so what this protection is the protecting of the physiology and of the intellect.
It's not a good kind of protection.
Yeah,
Like
okay,
it's
right. That's what I was getting was, this is
yeah.
not the kind
It's
of
like an
protection I want to have
armoring,
around.
or
Yeah,
it's like sometimes like say you have a liver and you're trying to treat the liver and you're God, I'm throwing everything in, it's just not responding.
Yeah.
You can look at it like, okay, it's repetition, it's maintenance, it's protection. It's usually the protective mechanism. Won't let the liver like break out of that repetitive pattern.
Okay.
So
So if I want to minimize or let's use the word minimize this protective quality
Mhm.
to facilitate releasing those energies which may be held in the liver, the heart, the
Mhm.
throat.
Mhm.
What's the what's the magic bullet for going after that?
You have several.
Yeah.
So let's talk single oils first.
Yep.
So the thing that I would do is I would treat the Auric program first, then I would do some sort of vagal tone, that's like associated.
Right.
The next piece, I haven't really talked about it yet, but there's the four aspects of the will, and they're really related to like the physical realm, the emotional realm, the mental realm, the spiritual realm.
I remember those conversations.
Yeah, like I think they might have been touched on in the Angel Encyclopedia booklet, the second version. But anyway, that will come to later. But like if you did the work program, you did vagal tone. And then the third thing, you have options like tuberose, ginger lily, super good for that. Like if you look at the idea of tuberose, Kuan Yin in the Buddhist tradition is Avalokiteshvara, or being also known as Chenrezig. And, basically Avalokiteshvara means one who hears and then in the inner world. So
Okay.
it's the great like deity that's in charge of hearing and answering prayers. And, they say like if you invoke Avalokiteshvara or Kuan Yin, basically, you do it through mantra or deep devotion, that, karma permitting, your prayer will eventually be answered or granted. And it's to what degree, but when you look at a lot of the pictures of Avalokiteshvara, there's a big wreath, a big like lei of tuberose around the neck. And if you look at a lot of different pictures of Buddhist teachings, and actually even in other traditions, like the Egyptians use a lot of lotus, same with the Buddhists. There'll be like a particular kind of flower or something. It's usually tied to some process that's associated with that. And if you look at the idea of, breaking through that protection, it's what tuberose does. Like, I mean, it's very nice, it's very activating to the heart, it's very activating to the, but if you do that body awareness with the tuberose, um, something happens. And
Okay.
you could also do it with ginger lily. I mean, ginger lily is usually a little bit more of like kind of cleaning something up. I find the ginger lily to be a little bit better when it's about a past event, where tuberose is just the body and its mechanisms. So there's those. Um, the other one that was in a kit not too long ago was that body tension. I think it
Mhm.
was in the Radiant Mind class.
Yeah.
That one can be potent. But then the other one that I would say is any of the aspects of the planets. That's part of what they do. Like those aspects of the planets break down, because like even when I say like that kind of protection is almost like the opposite of us being consciously aware, or like our consciousness. It has a kind of consciousness. It's just very instinctive and very primal, but it still has a little bit of a consciousness there. So those
Right.
aspects of the planets, part of what it does is like it just keeps pounding on that protective mechanism, and not in a way where it's like aggressive, but it just keeps pecking at it, and it just keeps breaking up and shifting. And so that's why you'll feel like a shift in your consciousness. Like you do one of those classes, you're like, oh God, I feel different. Part of it was it broke down some of the protection mechanisms in the body, and it allowed for something to shift, allowed for a greater presence to come into the physical form.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So you have a bunch of choices there.
Okay. Lots of places to play. Avalokitesvara.
Mhm.
Could we use, it sounds like Avalokitesvara is almost on the level of an angelic, like we've been discussing the angels.
You could work the deities like that. They there's always like 24 spiritual elders that their energy body encompasses the planet. And Avalokiteshvara or Kuan Yin is one of those, whatever you want to call it, spiritual elder, great teacher, great presence,
Yeah.
whatever
So
it is. And so a little bit different than angels, but in the same vein.
okay.
Just like Jesus. Christ is a planetary being. The Buddha is a planetary being.
Yeah. Okay. So I have
Rama, Rama,
yeah.
Manjushri. Yeah.
So I have Avalokitesvara oil.
Mm-hmm. That's
And so
delicious, isn't
I
it?
could use Avalokitesvara oil and use the angelic process from a couple of weeks
Yeah,
back.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay.
Yeah, even like a simple form of that is just do like body awareness.
Mhm.
And then, in the angelic process where you go from the feet all the way up, like, you go to the main man and the spine and like up,
Yes.
especially with deities, that piece is extra potent.
Okay.
And then also Om Mani Padme Hum. You can inhale the oil and then put it down and just Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Did you do the mystical practice the other night where we did the Tonka?
No.
So one of the things, like if you have an image of Kuan Yin or Avalokiteshvara, meditate on the form for a little bit and then make eye contact with the image and then do your mantra.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Thanks.
You're so.
And then a little while ago, Greg, you did a post about like doing a practice with the deity, devotional practice with deity. And so I just posted that. in
Yeah.
the
Oh,
chat
great.
as well.
Yeah.
So it's up there. And then we'll go ahead and, I have a share for the art programming, and go ahead and raise your hand in the chat for the regular Q&A. And we'll get to that going here in just a second. And someone shared soothing and relaxing.
Oh, good.
And I know for me, whenever like you were talking to Barbara, I just couldn't stop yawning. It was like my throat.
Yeah.
And then during the process, it was like my imagination and my creativity were going crazy. I was just like, whoa. And so that was kind of funny because it had to have been the oil.
Feed the mayonnaise to the tuna.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Good.
So that was really very neat.
Good.
And so that will complete this week's art program. Next week, prosperity. So your oil is prosperity for that. So have that handy. Same time, same place. See you there. And then go ahead, Troy, start us out.
Hey.
Hey y'all, thank you for that. Greg, I'm having some like anger management issues, which has not been a thing for me in most of my life, but it's been
Okay.
an increasingly common issue for me.
Is it always like a particular situation or a particular
It's like all over,
person, or
it's
is
like
it
all over
just
the place.
yeah?
I just like I'm like having disproportionate reactions, and it's like something that maybe would be upsetting to like the power of 2 or something. I'm having like a 8 to 10 reaction.
Okay.
And
And have you tried to do anything like oil wise with it?
I haven't yet. No.
So a lot of times Melissa can be very helpful for that. It will help with calming down and helping to prevent some of the anger, but even in the middle of like an anger response, it's a thing that will calm you down kind of most times, kind of quickly.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say is it can also be, I know there's like stresses in life and everything like that, but also like talking about the cardiovascular vagal tone, like sometimes that can be like a vagal tone issue, but in the physical heart or the cardiovascular system. And let me tell you what you can use for that. I know benzoin, but neroli, lang lang, vetiver, even anula. And I would say I don't think that's gonna like completely resolve it, but that combined with the Melissa, I think you might get some like nice reaction. I think that could be helpful. And so take the Melissa internally, inhale it. If there's different situations that rise up, inhale the Melissa while you feel that, and then feel it in the body. And the thing about feeling it in the body is it helps you to break out of those loops that potentially are getting aggravated or triggered. And so, if we look at like our stresses, our difficulties, our conflicts, they'll hit the different parts of the nervous system and the body a little bit differently. But one of the areas that's hit the hardest is the cardiovascular system. And so I just spend some time unwinding it. Doesn't mean that you have a cardiovascular issue, by the way. It just means that like there's stress and there's like kind of a loop that's in there. And it can cause anxiety, it can cause panic, it can cause, agitation, it can cause all kinds of things.
That
And so,
that feels like I'm hearing a ding ding for that.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't think I put it out in a class, but I can tell you like that I have a blend that if you probably can piece it together with the stuff that you have.
okay.
But it's neroli, vetiver, rosalina, rosemary camphor. And so rosemary camphor is a very particular kind of rosemary, but I think it's even been in a kit at one point. And then a nula, and then so all of those equal amounts, and then a lang lang, 12 parts. So like you do 12 drops to every 1 drop of everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could make it for you as well, but like you probably have the ability to make it at home and get that rolling.
Okay.
And
And
then
then
another one that works on its own that's not in the blend just because it didn't enhance the blend, but is benzoin. Benzoin can work pretty good on its own as well.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had I just got over COVID, and it was pretty bad for about a week, and I had to work during the whole time. I was like at work running a fever and stuff, and then even when I finished my big job and was able to take some time off to
Mhm.
have some sick days and recover, man, it just kept coming up, and it's like at home sick and tired and not breathing properly or anything. And
Mhm.
it's just such a striking contrast of like what a weird situation to be
Right.
having a high anger response.
Right.
And I definitely noticed, the heart and chest, like whenever I'm having these like spikes.
I would say I strongly suspect that a lot of times the the thing with COVID, even, we're not dealing with it intensely like we did, what, 4 or 5 years ago, whenever that was. Um, that it is hitting vagal tone pretty specifically to cardiovascular function. It's still hitting the respiratory aspect, but I think it's hitting the cardiovascular system way harder than we really realized. And I think a lot of long COVID is actually a vagal tone issue, not in the respiratory tract, but actually in the cardiovascular system. Might also be a little bit in the immune system, but, because the idea of vagal tone, it's, we think of everything very symptom oriented, but like vagal tone is like the potential of that area to heal. Like when something's not responding, there's something where the potential isn't really there. And so, as much as you try to treat symptoms, nothing really happens because the potential is very low. But when you improve the vagal tone, then the body usually will either resolve it on its own, or when you're giving it the symptom oriented treatment, it actually will respond. And if you think about like all the stuff going on with like COVID and even the idea of like anxiety and panic attacks and things that would still be, I mean, anxiety and panic attacks can be caused by other issues. Like, like sometimes it's respiratory, sometimes it's can even be digestive, like it can be in other places. But if you look at like, okay, we know things that will calm down anxiety, we know things that will calm down panic, we know things that will calm and soothe the body, and then when we use them, and then when it doesn't work, like, why isn't it working? And most times we just go, well, it just doesn't work for me for whatever reason. it's almost always some issue like in vagal tone, or like how we were talking about like with Ralph, where it's even a deeper aspect of that, you know, where the body starts to go into a protective mode, even though it's making us miserable, the body still will protect that repetition. And so you know, vagal tone's always a great place to start, you know, and if you combine it with, you know, working the Auric program like how we just did, you know, you could hit the cardiovascular system, you could, you know, hit the nervous system. But even if you're not sure, just go to the aloes, and it's kind of a general one. And, you know, you can work the aura a little bit and then go in and treat the vagal tone. It will be a bit deeper. Yeah. And so then when you go to use like some of these oils, it could be something that is much more potent. You know, like I even have like a vagal tone for the pulmonary circulation and the systemic circulation for deeper levels of treating the heart. And like right before we came on, I was doing the cardiovascular vagal tone. Like I was sitting there and, you know, just doing my thing. And I just noticed like when I do it, when there's weirdness or conflict, you know, because conflict isn't necessarily somebody arguing with you, it's just like difficulty or obstacles or, you know, I don't know, you know, just crap. You know, I find that I become less reactive, and I'm able to like let it go, where in the old days I would have been calm and polite, but I would have had a say. You know what I mean? Like I'm still gonna say it. I'm just gonna do it politely, which was an improvement over my youth. But like now I can just go, what's the point? Let's not even create this situation, you know? And for me, that's all cardiovascular vagal tone, all of that. You know, the the other one that I work a lot is for the digestive tract, and it feels very different than the cardiovascular one. The cardiovascular one calms me down like nothing else, and like makes my mind clear, makes me not reactive to the stimuli in the environment. Yeah. I for you, I would go deep on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would would that like PEM loops
Yeah,
thing
that could
do
be
anything
helpful
with
as
this?
well. Yeah, that could be helpful as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
W-
I like to use that. Like a lot of times how I just use that is I just feel things in the body and inhale it. And so, but that will help break up some of those loops as well.
Okay. What was the class from I think relatively recently that had the different vagal tone, like the
Well,
cardio vagal tone stuff in it?
well, there wasn't a blend in the cardio. There wasn't the cardiovascular vagal tone, but the cardiovascular system. There was a process for that, and it was tuning into the divine calm, the first one.
Okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like there's like I kind of went through the whole body, and you know, some areas I went a little deeper than others, but we're, you know, over a period of time, we're revisiting and going deeper on each little piece of that. Yeah. Like
Okay.
we're going to go like deep on the cardiovascular system. You know, it probably won't be for a couple months, but and the other thing that you might find interesting is you remember that old blend called bronchioles?
Yes.
So bronchioles is vagal tone for the bronchioles. So when you're working the heart, you know, the physical heart and the cardiovascular system, part of the issue is that in the pulmonary circulation is that, you know, it moves blood over to the lungs and then helps to oxygenate it. And so when you look at issues like in the diaphragm, for example, which is associated with like lower emotion and it tightens up but like when you work the cardiovascular system and then also the bronchioles, it lets out the diaphragm, because the diaphragm is really just responding to like a triggered state in the cardiovascular system, and then it's a triggered state in the respiratory system, the bronchial spasms, and then and so even the idea of treating the cardiovascular system, like a lot of times you kind of overlap a little bit with the respiratory system a little bit, specifically the bronchioles. I mean, it's why I'm always like going, okay, we're gonna unwind the bronchioles, we're gonna unwind the diaphragm. I mean, part of it is it impacts the respiratory tract, but it also impacts the cardiovascular system. And so, to kind of put it all together, could actually be like a protocol just unto itself. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for all that.
Yeah. And glad to guide you through all that. Like, you know what I mean? Start with what you got and like figure it out, but start working it, and I'll kind of help you along with talking that out and whatever protocols we need. But I think if you do it over a regular basis, I find that I'll do a session and I'll go, oh, I feel pretty good, but then like a couple of days will go by and I go, I feel way better than good. Like I feel like and then you kind of get used to it, and then you kind of go back and you do it again, and then after like a few weeks or a month, you look back and you go, look where I used to be. you know it's like a bunch of like little movements over a period of time, but it does make a significant difference.
Yeah, I'll start practicing with that. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And go ahead, Priya.
Hey.
Hey, I had no idea putting vetiver on full arms and legs makes such a huge difference as compared to just having it on the feet.
Oh yeah, it's super helpful. Like it helps to kind of ground you, but it improves the circulation and uh, impacts like a hyperreactive immune response. But also, we don't ever talk about vetiver in this way, but it's also a stimulant for the endocrine system, a lot like how we use like frankincense or myrrh and patchouli, and it generally stimulates endocrine function, which when you stimulate endocrine function, it improves like the thought processes and things like that. Vetiver is in that realm. Yeah.
I was very much grounded in the class,
Yeah.
and it was very different.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was great actually. I was like, why did I not think of it before? But yeah.
Right.
And even the Kartika practice that was done last week, the image that was shared throughout the day, I just had that sort of, I don't know, it was very powerful.
Yeah. That was Jay Zangapa, if I remember right. Is that what we used? Zangapa? Yeah.
I could feel the crown, the heart, the navel,
Mhm.
something happening.
Yeah.
And it was kind of balancing. It was nice.
Oh, good.
It was really good. I feel very different this week. Maybe all of these, but also the practice that you suggested last week. I think
Mhm.
Tubero is doing that on the head and the jaws.
Oh, good.
That
Yeah.
was quite good. My trust issues are all over the place a little bit. I've noticed that if somebody new is having a conversation with me, I I just want to get out of there. Like I feel like it's yeah, it's not safe, but I don't know if if I think that it's not safe because of them, or it's one of those negative repetition protection that you
Yeah,
feel.
it's a protective mechanism. I mean, even if you think about what you're saying, it's like it doesn't feel safe. Like, it is hitting up against. Do you have some tuberose or ginger lily?
I have them both.
Inhale it and just do the thing with like body awareness on the body. And then after doing that for a little while, you just kind of pick an area and inhale into that area for a little bit. And then after that, do the organs of blood purification with whichever one you're using.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can do that. When I
You could actually even add, specific to you would be also the materialization breath,
yeah,
with the oil. Yeah.
yeah, I did do that with tuberose. While I was doing the head and jaws, it just smells
Hmm.
so nice. And because materialization breath has been one of my practices, so I did a little bit, but not
Oh,
maybe
good.
not that much. I can up that a little bit. When I discussed it with my doctor, he was like, this is better than phoning. So a pushback to somebody new is better than getting into a fawning response, which I
Right.
agree,
Right.
which I agree, but I do feel like yeah, but they're both sort of unhealthy.
Yeah, it's trading something for another. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like I'm trading getting punched in the shoulder for getting stomped on the foot.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, just keep doing the practice.
I'm gonna continue with that. With the role play, it was all in my head. I got such great feedback from my teacher, from some of the
Hmm.
students. But honestly, like in my head, while I was doing it, I felt like I was on a super fast roller coaster that could have crashed, but it did not. It just, I just hit the up, and
Hmm.
it was a very positive outcome, but it could have not been that also, but nobody outside picked up on it. But in my head, I was maybe and that too, my what my doctor says is that over high performance is also a trauma response, just like underperformance. I don't get it, um yeah, like a positive outcome came out of it, but I know for a fact that I was not doing it from a very settled place.
Right.
So I'll continue with the practice, but I just
Well,
wanted to
good.
share all this with you. It was great.
Good.
Thank you.
And go ahead, Robert.
Hey.
Hey, Greg. I have two questions. The
Mhm.
first, I have a
I
client
have
on
about 14 answers.
Okay, perfect. I have a client on the call with me. Her
Okay.
name's Nikki, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her situation.
Okay. Hey, Nikki.
Let me see about helping you get unmuted here. 1 second.
Oh, I think I got it.
You did. Perfect.
Been a while since I've been on Zoom. Yes, thank you. As Robert said, I've been a client of Robert's for years now, and I'd like to first start off by saying thank you for all the work that you do with him, because it directly transfers to me, and I have
Oh, good.
plenty
You're
of
going to say
benefits
thank you.
from it. And so what I'm currently dealing with is what I'll just call, generally speaking, a cough. And I'll give you a little background, is that
Okay. Yeah, sure.
my mom passed away about a month ago, and I was her primary caretaker, and everything was great. It was beautiful, it was peaceful, and her choice and everything. And there's no regrets about that. And then about 10 days later, I got COVID and was in the depths of that. And I'm still dealing with what I guess you could call a post-COVID cough, but I know that there is probably some unresolved grief as well. Maybe I'm just assuming in my lungs from the passing of my mom, but I don't
How
want
long ago did she pass?
a month ago.
Oh yeah, so okay.
And so the cough is often productive, but not always. When I do cough up something, it's either clear or it's got a light yellow color to it.
Okay.
It will wake me up in the middle of the night where I'll have a coughing fit to the point where I feel like I might throw up because it won't stop. I won't stop coughing. Um, and then I can go an hour and not cough at all.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you had any intuitive hits or inputs as
Sure.
far as oils go, or
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I can do to help clear this.
So first off, what's the allergy situation like?
Um, I don't know, but it's interesting you bring that up because just yesterday I found a homeopathic allergy calm that I started taking that I
Okay.
think is related because the last couple days I've noticed that I do have some itching in my throat and in my ear as well. So there
Okay.
could be an allergy thing also.
Yeah, I suspect, I mean, it could be a little multifaceted, and I think you could treat it probably a couple of different ways, but I would say there is a component that is, tied to like an allergy response. That's the thing, like with being sick or like with COVID, is like sometimes after it was done, that it was so agitating to the immune system that a lot of times allergies would be kind of riding its coattails. And then when COVID is done, you kind of have this like weird allergy thing going on that seems like it's COVID, but it's actually more allergies. And so your bronchioles are definitely like contracted. And so with that, when you cough, is it like in your throat or is it more in your chest or even like down like around your diaphragm?
It feels like it's in my throat and in my chest
Okay.
primarily. And it
Yeah.
feels like there's a film in the back of my throat all the
Mhm.
time. And every now and then it'll tickle if I swallow or move my head a certain way, and then it'll trigger a coughing spell.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's probably bronchial spasms. And so the thing that I would use, I would do a couple of things. I don't know that this has to be too complicated. I would use, there's a tincture called colt's foot, and colt's foot is for coughs. It does help to reduce coughs. Like sometimes we can use things like mullein as well, but usually mullein would be used when there's a bit more mucus present. And here, like the colt's foot does reduce some of the bronchial spasms, and it will also address some of the mucus somewhat. And so I think that's a good one and an easy one to do. And then I would also support it with something that would continue to open up the bronchioles. So, like large hyssop, myrtle. Robert has a list of things that you could use in there, but something for Robert, like he'll guide you through something that will work for the bronchioles that he has there on hand. And then the other thing that I would do is, I would throw some quercetin at it, which is, you can go to like the health food store or like Whole Foods and just pick up their brand of quercetin. And so it's a crude vitamin C, but part of what it does is it helps to reduce the histamine levels and the allergic response. And part of it is the bronchial spasms. It's like part of your body has lost vagal tone. So it's like it has gone into like a stress state. And so the quercetin, it will help to improve vagal tone, which is like the diminishing of the stress in particular areas of your body. Same with the cold foot and same with the other things that would deepen the breath. And I think probably with just that combination, you probably should be fine. The thing that I would say about mm, the grief, or potential grief there, ginger lily is always good, but sometimes, especially when you get that, like, it feels like there's like a little lump in your throat, it's like you just feel like, did I swallow a pill and didn't get it down all the way? It just has that little weird feeling there. Sometimes that is uh, like unprocessed grief. And you'd see it in some big situation, like some sort of big loss with, here it's your parent, your mom. So that is always a potential. Melissa works good for that. And I can tell Robert, I do have a blend that is actually for that. Yes, let me look it up here real quick. I can tell you what's in it. I can't remember what they call that in Chinese, but it's like plum pit chi or something like that. Plum chi,
Yeah, she is.
like plum
thing.
pit chi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. So Robert, it's basically Melissa and Cape chamomile, and it was like you could just probably do those two, but it's like 4 parts Melissa, 2 parts Cape chamomile, and then if you had it, cypriol, like 1 drop of cypriol, and that's for that stuck energy that gets stuck in, because it's actually not just energy, it actually causes like a kind of a contraction and some of the smooth muscle and stuff, and that's why you feel that like little thing there. If you find that, you probably might not feel it now, but as the cough resolves, it would be the thing to look for after the fact.
Gotcha.
When if the cough comes down and there's nothing there, don't worry about it. Like, you could still do a little bit of processing with the mom thing. I mean, that's just going to happen no matter what for a few months. But I think if you just open up the bronchioles and do that should be good.
Thank you. Yeah,
You're
that
so welcome.
feels right. I don't feel like it's unprocessed grief, but I wanted to just
It-
mention that there could be something
Yeah,
there as
it's
well.
good. It's good, but like usually I can hear that in your voice, and I don't hear it in your voice at all.
Yeah.
Like how like when somebody's like you hear them talking, and you're like, there's something in the way they're talking. I can like hear it. You don't have that sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I
Yeah.
will touch base with him and get those oils. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and if for some reason some of it doesn't resolve, like let me know. We can take it to another level. I mean, we could make this super complicated and throw a bunch of things at it, but I don't know that it's necessary. I think this would probably calm it down and have it be good.
I have been taking, per Robert's recommendation in the beginning, well, I stopped, and then I just started again taking bay laurel internally,
Oh
um,
yeah.
as well as tarragon. Is it okay to just keep taking?
Oh yeah. That's super
Okay.
good for you. Especially with your body getting over all that stuff. The bay laurel will kind of help build the immunity a little bit, and the tarragon will actually have a like a kind of a relaxing effect on the muscle, because even like when we cough, like it's affecting skeletal muscle all the way actually down to like your waistline, like your lower abdominal muscles. They'll contract really hard, and tarragon's really good for the muscle.
Yeah, I noticed that
Yeah.
last night when the coughing
Mhm.
woke me up. I didn't have any abdominal strength to keep coughing
Right.
anymore.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so to review, Greg, quercetin, colt's foot tincture, and then larch or hyssop or myrtle.
Yeah, something, or like German chamomile, anula, one of the things that's for opening up the bronchioles. And the quercetin, you know, I don't think she's super bad. So like probably 2 tablets like twice a day. Like
Okay.
if it was bad, I would say three times a day, and then taper down to 3 twice a day. But it's probably just calming everything down will calm down the allergic response as well. And so that should be enough. If it was like, because a different version of this could have been that like her nose is running and just won't turn off.
Right.
Angelica would be good for that. But with with the it just being a cough and there's a little bit of mucus and the stress and the grief with the passing of the parent, I think this is plenty. Like if within a week or so, 10 days, she's not doing better, like I'd say within a few days, she should be feeling better.
Yeah, I think that should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Uh, so then on the grief support, Ginger Lily, Melissa, or the blend that you gave 4 parts Melissa to 2 parts Cape
That,
Chamomile.
that, that,
drops of
that blend I gave, like I would say only if there's like that, like little pit in her throat. If
Okay,
that's not there, then ginger lily, even rose, ginger lily, rose, um,
I
you know,
have
that's
I have
probably
her
enough. Yeah.
I have her smelling sadness and grief right now.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's got rose in it. So
Okay.
perfect. Yeah.
So she doesn't really need the Melissa. She just
No.
keeps doing sadness and grief, and we're fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
I mean, Melissa is a little bit of an antihistamine, but given the cost and everything, I would have a hard time justifying that for just
Yes.
the antihistamine effect. And so, you know, I would just stick with what we said. And if it doesn't resolve, then we need to go deeper.
Okay.
But there I'd probably just go like have her keep doing the same things, but then go a little bit deeper on vagal tone in particular areas. But
Right.
I think if you unwind this, it'll regulate.
Okay. So then the second question that I have, a friend is looking to see if there's an oil that's good for feeling victimized. And that's about all I know of the situation. That's a friend of a friend, actually.
Okay. Did something happen? So you don't really know. Like we don't know
I
if
don't
something
really know.
happened or
No,
um
at least not yet.
hmm. Again, you could use ginger lily. You know what I would probably throw at it though is mugwort.
Okay.
And you could have her just like do the body awareness
Okay.
and do that a few times, and she could think of like external situations or people or times where she feels victimized. um uh that, and then after she's done a few cycles of that, have her do the materialization breath with the mugwort. She could also do it with ginger lily, but the mugwort actually might be a little bit more productive. The other thing, if you do get to interact with or like have the ability to ask a question, you might not get a whole lot of details, but I would ask, is it more with males or females?
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does that change what we do?
If it's more with females, the mugwort is an incredibly solid choice. If it's more with males, I would probably go osmanthus. but it's just it's like males and females. It doesn't always mean, you can have a very feminine man or a very masculine woman, and so it's more about kind of the energy.
Right.
And but each, like that male energy and female energy, kind of do different things, and so how they feel victimized, men, or at least that masculine energy, probably a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more willful, where the feminine aspect might be a little bit more like, feeling smothered or being manipulated, things like that. And
Mhm.
so, mugwort, mugwort for the feminine aspect, it just gets everything moving. And you could have her inhale it, and then for that, I would even put a drop on the heart on a daily basis, like maybe right before bed, just a drop or two on the chest. That could be very helpful. But if it's male, osmanthus is probably a better bet. But I mean, rose could work, cistus could work, ginger lily could work, but
Okay, thank you very much. I think
the
that'll help.
ginger lily would be a little bit better for just clearing the emotion of it. But, I would say just the little bit of hit that I have for this person, you almost have to get her to a place where she can clear things. Like right now, I think like her guard is really up,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And go ahead, Ralph.
Hey,
Hey, Greg. I got my abundance rollerball,
nice.
and I'd like to know what's the most effective way to utilize that.
You could wear that just like a daily thing, like put a little bit on the heart and on the forehead. And did we do like a little card or something that had a process for them, or yeah?
It just have a process. It was just
Yeah.
allowing to inhalation.
The process, let's see, for you. You know what I like for you? Like do the 4 quadrants and then do the materialization breath.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that a lot for you.
All right. Good. I had a family member come into the house today, and they were already agitated and upset. So I handed them a bottle of tarragon and says, "Here, smell this."
Mhm.
Um, is there another oil besides tarragon? If
How did it
somebody's
work?
already it chilled them out.
Yeah,
It would chill them out.
yeah. That's a pretty good choice.
Okay.
Benzoin could also work. Like sometimes something like rose or neroli or lang lang,
Yeah.
but tarragon is just it hits so many things, you know. Like we have a new employee, and she's young, like I don't know, was she like 22 or 23 or whatever, and she was in the office, and she has a little bit of anxiety, doesn't know anything about any of these kinds of stuff, things that we do. And we gave her a little bottle of tarragon, and she goes, "It makes all my anxiety go away, and I feel so chill." So we were just like, keep it in your pocket and use it. And she says she uses it when she doesn't, you know, feel,
Yeah.
feel good because of the environment or anxiety and everything. And she says it chills her out. And I mean, kind of what that does. And, if you think, it's like also pulling them back into like a deeper level of vagal tone and calming down the fight flight response, and the stress response, and also anti-inflammatory. It calms the emotions. It reduces spasms in the body, calms down the digestive tract. Like, it hits so many markers that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you had mentioned you were might be doing a 2.0 on the heart and thousand petal lotus. Any idea how soon that might be happening?
Probably a little bit more in like October or November.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. That's the first one, the moon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All of them we want to do a 2.0. So
Okay.
yeah.
All righty.
You
Good
just
deal.
made Samantha grin, by the way.
Yeah, well, okay, cool. Thank you.
You're so.
Go ahead, Teresa.
Hey,
Hey, Greg.
how are you?
I'm okay. Is there any grief in my throat? I think I must be processing something. It's between heart and throat. And
Like down here, or
no, it feels like it's near the little throat minor.
maybe do you have some Melissa? Maybe try a little Melissa.
Oh, yeah, I have Melissa. I have Melissa tincture too.
Oh yeah, yeah, go for it.
All right.
I'd probably take it a couple times a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay. And then just straight Melissa, just inhalation or 4 quadrants. Okay.
Yeah, for grief or like kind of processing those things, why don't you do the organs of blood purification?
Okay.
Yeah. But
All
with
right.
Melissa, that feels really good, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Organs of blood purification. Okay.
Mhm.
Now last night I was processing something and it felt like something was stuck either in my solar plexus or my diaphragm. And I'm curious because I think the only thing there was 2 things I tried everything and then I'm like, all right. It was between Moroccan thyme and eucalyptus polybrox. So can you talk to me about those 2 things? I could finally like settle down and sleep.
So what was happening? You were feeling it kind of in your diaphragm area?
Yeah, I don't know if I picked up some energy or so I went through and did, CRC, I did etheric chords, I did all like the normal ones, Rue, and then I'm like, all right, Moroccan time usually like is very soothing, and I think I
Mhm.
ended up moving on from that to eucalyptus polybroc, and that shifted something in my digestive tract.
So you were feeling it in your digestive tract more than anything.
Well, it felt more like it was the end of the sternum where the
Okay. Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah. Yeah.
the diaphragm is, and I'm like, is it something in my solar plexus? So I'm just curious about those 2 and why they would have aided.
And if it felt resolved after you were done, or it just felt like it soothed it, or
I think the Moroccan time felt like it soothed it, and eucalyptus polybroc, I just fell asleep.
Hmm.
And I tried tarragon too, so like I tried all of the normal ones.
Mhm. Let's see if we can see what's up here. Had anything been going on? Oh,
Um,
that's right. That situation. Yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
no, that situation's done. Like,
Done, resolved,
well, my home,
relatively resolved.
yeah, like from my side, it's resolved. There might have been a reemergence from a family member trying to uh pull me back to a location, and I set some clear
Mm.
boundaries.
Mm.
So that would be the only thing.
You threw the Moroccan time at him?
It's room mark and time it up. No, I
That's why it was
actually,
so soothing.
yeah, okay, yeah, I threw that. No, it would have been like 3,000 miles. I'm not
Oh,
that
okay.
strong of a thrower, but
So the thing that I would say is like when I look at you, it looked like whatever was going on, the thymus, which is behind your
yeah,
breastbone,
yeah.
got agitated, And so that could be, it helps regulate the immune system, but it's also, tied to like fighting off viruses and bacterias and things like that.
Mhm.
But, it can also get compromised when people are being whatever towards us.
Yep.
And so it looks like oddly like hyper reactive.
Okay.
And it's probably why the rockin' time was kind of calm. Now, the thing is that when that becomes hyper reactive, it does impact the immune system somewhat. And one of the big areas for the immune system is the solar plexus.
Hmm.
And so, it kind of makes sense that your diaphragm and the solar plexus were all kind of doing something. And so, the Moroccan time is one of the ways to kind of calm that down.
Yeah.
And reishi mushroom would also do it.
Okay. I have that.
Sometimes vetiver would do it as well. The thing with the eucalyptus polybroct, it probably just cleared some energy out of your field. You know what I mean?
Got it. So,
Good for clearing the mind, but part of clearing the mind is also cleaning up the solar plexus and even the instinctive responses somewhat. And so
okay.
it probably was just because of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you used past tense when you were speaking, so it's gone
Yeah, it
now.
looks like it kind of regulated. I mean, everybody could use some work on the thymus, but I mean, um,
Uh,
I don't know that it's any big project or anything for you.
uh,
Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's a project, but this
no.
isn't one.
I actually was doing some clearing last night using Brain Gym, and a couple of these statements were at the thymus area, so I think that's what it was.
Hmm,
Now that
okay.
I think about it.
Yeah.
But it was related to the 3,000 mile
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
Moroccan time throwing competition that I'm a part of. Anyway, thanks, Greg. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome.
Oh, and I'm looking forward to the navigator oil.
When were we talking about that? Over the weekend?
It was a
Yeah.
thing was on Sunday.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that oil too. It's such a great idea. So while I was listening to the other questions, I pulled out the programming oil for the skin
Mhm,
and went through the whole thing.
mhm.
And it felt stronger than I ever felt it before. And I'm wondering if working the void first did something to
Oh, very well
fix
could
it
be.
up.
Yeah, very well could be. Yeah.
Or if I was still processing things from the prior one and just feeling it as I went through the quadrant of
I
the
would
aura.
say the void and working the oneness is another way you could say it is like a little bit of an amplifier of like the light, because you're looking at like the light being the fuel or gasoline for the body's processes. And well, I mean, oneness is another way of just saying like light. It's more of, we have a process that is about the light, but it's almost like the mechanism where the light comes in. And so uh
So it would be a great first round in any stack then.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go that route, like you could do the one for light, which is mana, and then the void, and then the one for Vajrayogini,
Uh-huh.
and then whichever body process you want to work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
High test.
That way you can treat something and get enlightened all at once.
Quick path. I love it.
Because I mean, it's like that, boy, that's very esoteric there. So,
Thank you.
yeah, you're so welcome.
Okay, so it was light, oneness, Vajrayana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Robert's got it in there.
Yeah.
But then it was whatever body part, so
Yeah.
like body awareness on that.
No, like she's wanting to treat her skin, so she's doing that. Like, but if you wanted to
Oh, like
treat
the
muscle, like, so if you're doing like a stack,
oh, I see. Go
so
ahead.
like, you know, whatever other issue you want to treat, it's just, yeah.
Nice. So
Mhm.
it'd be skin support for someone wanting to work skin, muscle support for.
So even going back to the thing that Ralph was asking about, like the negative protective mechanism in the body, another oil that you could use is Vajra Yogini. I mean, that's kind of what Vajra Yogini is all about. You know, in the Buddhist tradition, they say when you're doing, you know, it depends on what practice or what tradition you're doing it. This is more in the tantric circles, but they say when you're doing a devotional practice to whatever being or deity, like say, you know, you're doing the Buddha, or you're doing Manjushri or Padmasambhava, or, you know, whoever, you have to go through Vajra Yogini to be able to connect. And, you know, Vajra Yogini is a female form, but it is, it calms down all those mechanisms that I was talking about, like the repetition and the maintenance and the protective mechanisms. I mean, yeah. It's not a very common practice, but it's I mean, I have 3 things on right now that all are associated with Vajra Yogini, and we have Tonkas down in the shrine, and like I have a little statue that I travel with. Vajra Yogini is a big deal. Yeah, very quietly a big deal.
And of all those, I think that's the only one we actually haven't worked with all the art programming stuff yet. So you have the kit already.
Yeah.
Keep us posted if you do it.
So we got to get going over to the Star prayer petition blessing, and thanks for hanging out tonight, you guys. And if you still had some questions, I know we might have still had some people, email us and let us know. And you know, this weekend's a holiday weekend, so enjoy your holiday. But next Tuesday, we're back to our next Auric program, and I think it's what, number 35,
Mhm.
prosperity. And so yeah, we still have our study group tomorrow too, by the way.